Greetings, I'm Hondo, and this is my review of the Master Effects Super 300. This pedal can function as a DI, so the signal chain today is going to be my modern vintage P-Bass into the pedal, and then just straight into Ableton Live. So if you've watched any of my videos in the past, it's very rare that I end up getting a pedal in that has anything bad with the build quality. So everything is typically pretty good, but every now and then pedals will kind of stand out as having like really exceptional build quality, and this is one of those pedals. This thing feels incredibly well built, and the knobs are really smooth to turn and very firm, and the whole thing just feels like there was a lot of effort put into making it feel like it had really tight tolerances, and that's something that's super cool, especially for the price of this pedal at around 240 bucks. This definitely feels like a pedal that is worth that amount of money, and the floral design on here looks super cool. And there's like a texture on the top of the pedal, so the whole thing looks and feels very classy. All the switches are solid, and it's got the soft foot switches, which make the whole thing kind of like basically a joy to use. And it's not too big, it's a little bit on the wider side, but it's kind of short, so it takes up an average amount of size on your pedal board. But overall, the build quality on this thing is absolutely exceptional. So if you're familiar with the controls on an SVT, the controls on this pedal are going to be dead simple. The first one is the master level for the entire pedal. Next to that, you have an incredibly smooth 3-band EQ. Then over on the right is arguably the most important knob on the whole pedal, which is the gain. This is typically the first place I start to sculpt a tone when I'm trying to dial something in. In the next row, we have the stepped frequency selector for the mid EQ, which goes from 220 to 3500 Hertz. Then we have my two favorite switches, the ultra low and the ultra bright. The ultra low really shifts a ton of the signal into the deep kind of low end, so you will definitely want to make sure you check your gain staging after you flick that thing on. Lastly, there's an extra foot switch on the right that gives you a boost in gain and tightens up your low end a little bit, and it adds some nice edge to the sound. Master Effects was nice enough to reach out to me to see if I wanted to check this pedal out, and when I saw that it was based on the SVT sound, I said absolutely, I would love to check that out because that's one of my favorite bass sounds. And I'm really glad I did because this thing sounds fantastic, so thank you guys for the opportunity. This pedal definitely gets into that SVT kind of ballpark. It's a little bit different than some of the other pedals that I've heard that are shooting for that sound, in the sense that to me it kind of sounds a little bit more in that kind of old school territory. It's really warm and very kind of saturated sounding, so it does a great job of making your bass just like slot perfectly into a mix, and it still gives you that like low end density that people really like out of SVTs. So to me, one of the coolest things about this pedal is how the gain reacts to your playing. And what I mean by that is that it kind of feels amp-like in the sense that if you have the gain set kind of low, if you dig in really hard, you can still get some overdrive out of the pedal, which is really cool. It reminds me of actually playing through tube amps. And the reason I enjoy that is because it lets you be kind of like dynamic and fluid. So if you're in a setting that doesn't have a lot of gain naturally, you can decide at any given moment, like, hey, I want a little bit of drive, and then you just dig in and get the drive, and then play a little bit softer again, and it eases back to being like a clean, fat sound. And I really enjoy that. As far as the EQ is concerned, the EQ on here is super smooth. It's not going to let you do like any kind of like drastic tone sculpting or anything like a graphic EQ, but it gets the job done. It's very musical, so kind of wherever you put the settings, you're not going to screw up your sound, so you don't really have to worry about that, which is nice. And then the last thing is the ability for this pedal to be very smooth. So if you have something like another drive or maybe an effect that is like a little bit edgy sounding or kind of like what some people call like pokey, this pedal does a really good job of smoothing stuff out. And I'll show in the bonus clips, this pedal also sounds great when you're running through an impulse response. And if you're like me and when you're going out on gigs, you're using in-ear monitors a lot and maybe not using an amp or something, this pedal is fantastic for giving you like a nice, smooth, and pleasant sound in your ears, as opposed to kind of like that DI bass sound that's like, to me, that's a little bit jarring. So if you're using IEMs a lot, this pedal is definitely something to check out. So for the bonus clips on this one, I wanted to give you an idea of what this sounds like with drives running into it, because I think it excels at that. Also, I took some of the original sound clips and ran them through 8x10 impulse responses to give you an idea of what that sounds like. And also, I just got a Dingwall d-roc, which I absolutely love, and I look for any excuse to play, so I played it in the bonus clips for this, just to give you an idea of what something more modern might sound like through it. So let me know if you dig them down in the comments. So if you're a fan of warm bass tones, regardless of whether you like SVTs or not, this is definitely a pedal to check out if you're looking to have like a preamp or a DI pedal added into the mix. The saturation that this pedal gives to your tone is great. It might be, I think, one of the best ones I've heard in quite some time, and it does an excellent job, like I mentioned before, of just making the bass just sit right where it's supposed to in the mix without a lot of effort. And I also think given the nature of the drive and how well it can blend with other drives. I could see you using this pedal in any genre, from country to gent, because it blends well with other stuff, and on its own it can do everything from a very kind of clean fat type of sound to something that's got a ton of gain on it. So it's super versatile. It's not crazy expensive at $240 as of the time of making this video, and overall the build quality is like some of the best I've ever seen. So if you can check this pedal out, I highly recommend it, and if you do, let me know. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's lots more stuff like this coming down the pipe over the next couple of months, so please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of it, and hitting that thumbs up, because that helps the channel grow quite a bit. Speaking of helping the channel, I made a decision that I'm not going to take any money from any of the people that are sending me pedals to review, and I'm not going to try and put a whole bunch of ads on my channel, and I'm not going to do like a Patreon or put any of this stuff behind a paywall, because I know there's a lot of younger people that watch the channel that can't pay for it. There's people internationally that it's like a hassle for, and frankly I'm trying to do this to be helpful, so making people pay for it to get the content is like not what I want to do, and it doesn't feel right to me. So that said, I put a link below for a PayPal, so if you feel like you want to help the channel and give a donation of some kind to help me keep these giveaways and everything going, that's awesome. And then if you don't, it's cool. But check out that link below if you do feel like helping the channel out. I would incredibly appreciate it. And there's lots of big stuff that I have planned if this kind of takes off, so I'm really looking forward to that. And regardless of whether you do or do not donate, that was hard to say, I really appreciate you even watching the video up until this point, so you're awesome. Also in the links below, there are links to all the gear that I use in the video, and a link to my Instagram and also my Twitch channel. There's some really cool stuff I have planned for the Twitch coming in the fall, so if you want to check any of that stuff out, please click that link and start following me on there. And also there's a link to the Discord below, and the Discord community is fantastic. I've made a lot of cool friends over there, and everybody over there is awesome. So if you want to come hang out in real time, that would be super cool. All that said, I hope you're staying happy and staying healthy, and I hope I see you around soon. Take it easy.